Get ready.
Jose.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Chickies and Pete's, and welcome to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. My name is Dan Baker, Phillies PA announcer, and I'll see some of you across the street tonight when the Phillies host the New York Yankees in interleague baseball. We've got two big stars that you can listen to and look at today. My co-host is former Phillies outfielder, former 1993 National League champion, the hitting coach for the 2008 World Series champions. Now you can take your pick on the number 25 or number 28. Milt Thompson, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you.
is our co-host. And our Milt's and my special guest was the Phillies' lone all-star representative in 1996. And I had a chance to introduce him to a national television audience.
Yes, you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing the Philadelphia Phillies, number 52, Ricky Bottalico. He pitched a scoreless inning in the 96 All-Star game. He took on Barry Bonds in the fight of the century in San Francisco. Anyway, we're so glad to have Ricky join Milt Thompson and me. You know, you better enjoy this guy because, you know, he's on the best show ever.
Yep.
And you see him on the pre- and post-game show all the time with Michael Barkan. And he is honest, he's humorous, he's not afraid to speak his mind. He'll tell you who's doing well, he'll tell you who's not doing well. And he's probably not long for this market. In my opinion, he is going, and I've had the good fortune to work with many former Phillies players, several of whom have gone on to outstanding careers in baseball broadcasting, both here in Philadelphia and in other cities. And this guy has as bright a future as any of them. And you're going to be hearing from him soon, if Ricky wants it, on the MLB network.
You never know, Dan. You just never know.
Well, there's, as you know, Rick, and as Milt knows, there's corporate politics everywhere, right?
Yeah, I
and
understand.
sometimes somebody, you wonder, how did this guy get that? Well, he's a favorite of one of the executives or something, you know? But Rick, you have the talent. You've proved that. Just like Milt Thompson has proven his great worth, he's now an ambassador also. I didn't add that.
Yes, he is.
But he represents the Phillies and represents us so well at so many events. And look what he's done as a hitting coach, as a player. Milt, of all of those things that you can point to with pride that you've accomplished in your career, is there one thing that stands out about above everything else?
I guess winning a world championship, winning a World Series is really cool, you know. I had an opportunity as a player to play in the World Series and did very well, but we came up short. And I'm going to tell you, when you get that close and you're right there and things don't work out, that's a tough off season.
Well, my wife Kathy and I were in Toronto, Rick, at the Rogers Center when Joe Carter hit that walk-off home run. In fact, my daughter Courtney's here today, and my son-in-law Yash, and my grandchildren Rio and Aria. And Joe Carter's daughter was a news anchor reporter in the Quad Cities, as was Courtney Baker at CBS 4,
Okay.
Rock Island, Illinois. And where's Court sitting, Kath? Oh, she's not here yet. Okay. Well, anyway, with my beautiful wife, I have to say that we celebrated our 50th anniversary.
Congratulations,
Right.
that's awesome.
July 13th was the actual day, and I took her to Montreal and Quebec City, Canada, to celebrate. Boy, oh boy, we had a great time, and Kath, I love you so much, and I'm so grateful to have you for a wife. Now, let's talk some Phillies baseball. Ricky, you analyze just about every game on television.
Yep.
And it looks like we've, and you know, over the course of a long season, there's going to be ups and downs. It looks like we're in a little bit of a down right now.
Yeah, they're in a definitive low, and the thing that's getting a little bothersome is that it's a little bit of everything. I mean, sometimes it's easy, you've been a coach, Milt, to point out what the problem is and try to fix that problem. But right now, I mean, you're having issues with your starting rotation. They've been tired. Ranger Suarez is injured. You had the quote-unquote back problem for Zach Wheeler not too long ago. So you're a little confused. I mean, Tyler Phillips has come up and done a heck of a job. I mean, this guy, I like his bitterness on the mound. I really do. I think that's something, I mean, this team's been missing. They really haven't had a guy like with that kind of fire go out there in a long period of time. I like that. But, I mean, when you have the starting rotation kind of, I wouldn't say crumbling, but they're struggling a little bit at times right now. We're not seeing the same guys we saw early on in the season. And the bullpen has just been all over the place. But it's not one person. I mean, you know, Strom will have a bad game. Then Hoffman will have a bad. Then Kirkring. And Alvarado's been rough for about a month now. So when you have all this, it's hard to pinpoint something that's going wrong. To me, as a whole, I think the team looks tired. I think as a whole, I feel like the team's a little tired. They look a little sluggish. It doesn't seem like they could kick that next gear. You know, they're playing in neutral right now is what I feel like.
Well, you know, with as much as we're disappointed in the little slump that we're in right now, you would kill to be in this position. The 8.5 over the Braves, 9 over the Mets. Is that what the lead is?
They're still in a very pretty position right now. I don't think everybody's judging them right now on where they are in baseball. I think they're judging them as, wait a minute, this team has 9 superstars. Why aren't they winning every single series? Which we all know is impossible in Major League Baseball. Because you're going up against good teams every single night. And, I mean, right now it's a little unfortunate the way the schedule has gone. I mean, Pittsburgh has been playing well. Minnesota was playing well when you ran into them.
Ricky, Milt, would you care for a water?
I would, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And when you look even deeper, you just had the Guardians, who are a very good team, in. You have the Yankees, who are another good team, and then you go on a West Coast trip that doesn't get any easier. So, I mean, we could look at it like that, but they got to take it game by game. And somehow they need that one burst of energy, almost that one big ball of flame to come out at some point. And who knows? It could happen tonight, could happen tomorrow. But it is a long season. They put themselves into a really good space.
Ricky and Milt, I thought that happened Saturday night when Tyler Phillips out of Bishop Eustace High School in South Jersey pitches a 4-hit shutout, and we score 8 runs. And then... oh, well, that, you know, it's sports. Milt, you've been a very successful hitting coach. You're the hitting coach of the 2008 World Series champions. And nobody knows better than you how, you know, hitting streaks can come and go and slumps can linger. And how do you assess what's going on right now with Phillies hitters?
You know, it's hard. Like Ricky said, they're coming into a tough part of the schedule. You know, you go on the West Coast, you see a team like Seattle, who you don't face a lot. You know, you don't get to see these guys, so it becomes tough. You know, I became a good hitter after 4 or 5 years in the big leagues because I'm facing these guys multiple times, and you know, you have a game plan of what you're trying to do and what that guy's trying to do to you. So, you know, they still have the best record in baseball. That's what people are forgetting. They still have the best record in baseball, so there's no reason to panic, you know. But it's a tough job as a hitting coach when you're dealing with 15 different guys and trying to keep them all on the same page. Actually, mine was even tougher because we had a bunch of switch hitters.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too.
So,
That's one thing I never understood. Like, how do you pick apart a switch hitter? I mean, do you just stay on one side first and get him going on one side instead, like, say he's really struggling from the left, but he's only struggling a little bit from the right? How do you take care of that?
Well, it's all about them trusting me and having confidence, that, and talking to each other. What's your game plan on this side as opposed to the other side? I found, especially when I was dealing with switch hitters in the minor leagues, they had no clue because they would go into batting practice and never hit from both sides. I couldn't understand that. I don't care who I'm facing that day. When I'm taking batting practice, I'm going to hit on both sides of the plate.
Yeah, you want to feel good about both things you're doing.
But my guys were really cool. You're talking about Jimmy and Victorino, those guys. They were pretty locked in about what they had to do on each side of the plate, and they worked hard on both sides of the plate. And like I said, baseball. Hitting is tough. People don't understand how tough hitting really is, and inches make a difference. You ask a pitcher, inches make a difference on their pitches and their location. It's so tough.
Milt, what did you think of the Cleveland Guardians?
Pesky team. Oof. They're not going to hit a lot of home runs, but they're going to drive you crazy. I mean, Ramirez is a pretty good player.
He's a really good player.
Yeah, they got some guys who can play a little bit. That big guy that was at first base the first day.
That home run, my goodness.
Well, guess what? Before he hit the 3-run home run that tied yesterday's game, he struck out.
Yeah.
And the home plate umpire missed it.
There's been a lot of that this year.
He pointed to D.J. Rayburn at first. And he said no swing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if he had made contact, Rick, that would have gone a long ways.
This guy, man, he doesn't swing for singles. I know that. And in all honesty, those are, like when I pitched, I'd rather face guys like that. I didn't want to face guys that are going to, okay, if he's going to throw me away, I'm just going to serve it to left field. That bothered me more than anything. I mean, because those big guys, you have the opportunity to fool them at times. Oh, yeah. And if they get fooled once, you can fool them twice.
Ricky, could we have been watching a World Series preview over the weekend?
You know what I want the World Series to be? I want it to be the Phillies and Orioles. I think that would be an interesting World Series. I think that Orioles team, when we went down there and played them, showed that they got guts. They got some guys that could flat out play. They could hit the ball out of the ballpark. I think it would be a real interesting series to see the Orioles and Phillies.
And, of course, the Phillies and Orioles, Ricky Bottalico and Milt Thompson, made a trade deadline deal. Yeah. Austin Hayes comes to the Phillies, and Sir Anthony Dominguez and Christian Pache are traded by the Phillies to the Orioles for Hayes. Yeah. I want to get both of your assessments of that trade as well as the one that took place yesterday. Milt, what do you think of the Phillies trade so far?
Well, for me, we had to get a pretty legitimate right-handed bat. Because, it's important that, we have Castellanos and, JT and them, but you need another right-handed bat in that lineup. Bohm. But, trades are tough. You're going to lose some guys that you really don't want to give up, but if you're trying to win a championship and you're looking for pieces, I think we did a good job.
I think Dave Dombrowski always does a really good job in the sense that, let's face it, going into this trade deadline, everybody's thinking, Luis Robert or that Rooker guy from the A's who came in here and belted the ball around a little bit. But, you're also talking about a guy in Rooker that can't really play defense. No. So you would be sitting there with two Kyle Schwarbers, one from the right side, one from the left. Doesn't help you in that sense. And I said, one thing I did say is that it's going to be somebody nobody's talking about. You had that feeling. Dave was not going to give up his 1, 2, or 3 prospect for, some mid-levels. And that's what Austin Hayes kind of is. He could hit left-handers really, really well this year. But, as far as what they're doing right now, putting him into an everyday position for the next 10 days, I think I was a little surprised at that. And as for Carlos Estevez, the guy's got a good arm. He's been able to close games out this year. He's 20 of 23. So I think actually he was a guy that I thought they were going to go after.
Well, Ricky, being an all-star relief pitcher yourself, how does Carlos Estevez compare to some of those terrific Phillies relief pitchers?
Well, I mean, when I look at it right now, I love Jeff Hoffman. I think Jeff Hoffman's got great stuff, but is he, quote-unquote, the closer? I don't know. I would say no right now. So I think what you're going to try to do is bring in Estevez and make him the closer, period. So everybody else kind of falls into play before him, which means you can move up Alvarado as far as you want when he's struggling, and then slowly move him back when he gets his stuff back. So I think he just solidifies the back end of the bullpen. When's the deadline's today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 4, and I don't think Dave's done. I think there might be another reliever coming in.
And if you had to speculate, Rick, who would that be?
Speculation-wise, I don't know. I really don't know. It's just hard to say. I know everybody wants the lefty from Miami.
Tanner Scott?
Yeah, but how much? I mean, he's got a 1.18 ERA. I mean, what's that going to cost you?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to be cheap. And I don't know what kind of route he wants to go or who he wants to lose. That's the problem with Dave Dombrowski. You just never know what he's after or who he's after. But he's a shark in the water. He'll get somebody else.
Yeah,
The thing is, too, you don't want to deplete your minor league system.
Right. Which he hasn't done, though.
No, but I'm saying, the times when we were good, all those guys came up through the system. You look at Chooch, Jimmy Rollins, Howard Utley, Cole Hamels.
Yeah.
You gotta win within.
Well, the year they bought was really the 11 season when they went and got, they had Halladay and Lee, but that's buying players in my eyes.
Oswald, too.
And Oswald, and Blanton.
Yeah.
So 4 of their starters that year were bought players. And I thought that was the right timing. I mean, that was Ruben at the time.
Yeah.
And, he gets blamed for that, but they won 102 games. And let's face it, that team was a fun watch.
Oh, yeah.
They were a good watch. They had really good pitching. They could hit the ball. But you knew you were coming to the end of that rope. And you go out and buy some players because you think, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe I can get my one shot. It didn't happen.
With former Phillies stars Ricky Bottalico and Milt Thompson, I'm public address announcer Dan Baker. We'll be back with the second segment of today's Independence Blue Cross Bull Session from Chickies and Pete's in South Philadelphia after this.
SEPTA offers a variety of career opportunities. Our core business is transit, and with 5 modes of service, we rely on and need operators, engineers, and conductors. But it takes a host of other specialties, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, and more to keep the system moving. As an employee, you will earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Relax and enjoy a cocktail from our seasonal cocktail menu. Try one of our delicious, perfectly blended options like strawberry lemonade. How about a raspberry sangria, blend of Pinot Grigio, raspberry liqueur, and bubbly lemon lime soda? Or maybe a Hendrick's Gimlet or a Patron Tropical Mojito is more your style. Enjoy one of these or many others from our Chickie and Pete's sensational seasonal cocktail selection. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
Whether you're headed to brunch or baseball practice, Team Toyota is ready. With new Toyotas on the lot ready to drive home today, including the all-new Tacoma and rows of RAV4s. And with our huge selection of dependable certified used Toyotas, our pre-owned departments are ready to make a deal that works for you. Plus, our award-winning service centers will have you back on the road in no time. Visit one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or online at teamtoyota.net.
Here we go. Welcome back to the Independence Blue Cross Bull Session. Today we're at Chickies and Pete's flagship. This is where it all happened. There's so many good Chickies and Pete's throughout the Delaware Valley, but my goodness, if there's one that stands above all others, it's this one. I know thanks to Pete Cherokee and Mike Baldini and all of the great guys at the headquarters of Chickies and Pete's, I've done a lot of events here over the years, as Milt and Ricky, I know you guys have, and it's a great place to be with a lot of sports fans, a lot of Phillies fans in the complex tonight, this afternoon, and then tonight, as the Phillies host the New York Yankees. And man, that's going to be some series. Milt, the New York Yankees got off to a great start, but they've been struggling lately. They still have a really good record. I think they trail the Orioles, Ricky, by 1 or 2.
Yeah. They're still good, though. I mean,
absolutely.
I think that's the thing that you kind of lose out on. You look at the New York Yankees, yeah, they're going to hit some pitfalls, too. I mean, every team is. I just think they're a little bit more lean on Aaron Judge more than anything else. Is that fair to say about the Yankees?
That's what's standing out. You know, he doesn't have any protection.
Hold on, Milt. Gotta fix your headset there.
All right, we're going to turn that mic up. This man has something to say.
There he is.
Here's Milt Thompson.
Here we go. With Stanton now, he has no protection. You know, I heard him talking on the broadcast the other day, and they're talking about maybe leading him off.
Well, they did that before. I mean, they've done it. You might as well. I mean, if there's no protection around, why not? Let him get his shots right off the bat and see what happens. I mean, come on, we've seen Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper could bat 1 through 9.
Yes.
I mean, you don't see many players that could do that. I think for us, we're a little different.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather see him with men on base type thing. But, I mean, you look at it this way. Phillies have Kyle Schwarber leading.
Yes.
Guy hits home runs. But when you look at his on-base percentage, go ahead and match that up with Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah,
He's got better on-base percentage this year than Jimmy Rollins ever had, I believe.
Wow,
which is strange.
I would not have thought that, Rick.
Yeah, I mean, he takes a lot of pitches. Like for a home run hitter, that's odd to me in itself, because usually you see that fastball and it's tee up.
Yes. He's very selective. He has a really good game plan when he gets up to the plate. He's looking for one pitch, and he'll ambush you.
I thought earlier on in the season, I almost thought like his game plan was to hit the ball the other way until he felt comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know you were good at hitting the ball the other way. But, I mean, Kyle Schwarber was not necessarily a line drive to left center field hitter. And then this year you noticed he came up and he was actually trying to drive the ball to left. And then all of a sudden it was like, all right, I guess it's home run time.
Well, you got to remember also is he's usually a slow starter.
Yeah.
So I thought that was great of him to think about staying back and trying to hit the ball the other way. And then, you know.
Most guys would not do that. Not home run hitters. They figure, well, one of these years I'll get off to a fast start. And sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Milt Thompson, hitting coach deluxe for the Phillies. How about breaking down the Yankees hitters? Tell us about Aaron Judge. And
Aaron Judge is a freak.
Yeah.
I mean, to be that tall, and you would think that you could just continue to crowd this guy. But, I mean, he's pretty special. He's pretty special. He's, you know, one of the top hitters in the game today. You know, that one year he almost was a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're dealing with guys who are Triple Crown winners, they're pretty special.
Now, Giancarlo Stanton, I think, is close to returning.
Okay, he might be close. I don't know if he's returning tonight or not. I haven't heard anything yet. But he's the same guy you'll ever see. You could still fool him.
Yeah.
He's
got holes. He's got holes.
If you go into his wheelhouse, yeah, he'll hurt you. He's always hurt the Phillies, and it's always on a pitch middle. I mean, sometimes pitching is a thought process. Other times it's just like, just stay out of the middle of the plate.
Yeah.
You know, you have Stanton down the way, let him have a base hit if he's going to go that way, which most of the time he's not. And he's kind of like Castellanos in the sense that you could put a little spin on something away from him and get him. But, like, you're absolutely right. Aaron Judge has a really good eye. You can't really get too many fastballs by him unless it's up top of the zone. But, you know, the one thing you got to do with him, and I truly believe this, stay out of patterns. because I think he picks up on patterns. If you go slider, 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 and keep going, he's going to get you at some point. Yeah, and he's just a really good baseball.
The one guy I'm surprised with is LeMahieu. He's really struggling.
He's gone south.
Really struggling.
What is his age now? Is he 37? Is he up there that
Yeah,
high?
he's getting up there.
It looks it. You know what I mean? At some point you look, you're like, oh, his swing's gotten a little bit slow. Maybe he can't get to the balls that he used to. But he used to just be, I'll hit you the other way, I'll hit you the other way. Now it's, he's not the same guy anymore.
And then Soto's special, too.
How about him? Talk about on-base percentage.
Yeah, best guy in baseball. I mean, and I mean, when you think about it, it's almost like he picks his spots where he's going to go for a big ball. You ever notice that? It's like he'll take that double, he'll double you to death in left center field, but then you'll think, okay, I could get in on him, and that's almost when he's looking for it. That's when you get yourself in a little bit of trouble. It's hard. Those are at least 2 out of the 3 are tough guys to pitch to.
Well, I remember Ricky and Milt when he was still with Washington, and he hit a home run to beat us late, and it went over the foul pole. It was a fair ball over the foul pole. I mean,
that's a long run.
High and long. My goodness. Ricky, Colby Allard started yesterday, his first start for the Phillies. He hung in there a little bit. What'd you think of him? And would you contrast him for our live audience at Chickies and Pete's and our listening audience on WBC with Allard and Tyler Phillips, let's say?
Tyler Phillips, I think, got the game right away. I mean, with Colby Allard, you're going to need 2 or 3 starts before you could even start judging him. I don't believe. I like when Tyler came in, the first thing everybody wanted to do was anoint him because it was against the Atlanta Braves, and he came in striking everybody out. And then he gives up the home run, and then the jokes start with, well, he's getting everything out of the way in the first game. But the one thing that I've seen from him is that, I mean, being able to step up into a rotation that has guys like Nola and Wheeler, I think has a lot to do with your own mentality, and we've seen his mentality right away. He hates other hitters, and that's something that's going to stick in my mind, because when he steps up to the plate, the first thing he's thinking is, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Aaron Judge. I don't care if you're Juan Soto. I'm getting you out because I don't like you. And I think that's something that a lot of these players kind of miss in this day and age. You go back to when we played, Schilling hated everybody. Mitch hated everybody. They all did. And that was just a different, and I like that we're seeing that kind of mentality from a younger kid coming into the game. And it's almost embraced. If you watch the fans, they love this guy. I know he's from around here, and that's part of it. But, I mean, you can start judging him. I think he's got really good stuff. And the other thing is his poise on the mound. He's got that fire, but he's got a hidden poise about him. I mean, to go, complete game the other day, that's something special now in the big leagues, and he didn't seem to blink twice. So with Colby Allard, I'm just going to let him go out there, see what happens. I mean, you got to give him 2 or 3 starts before you even give him judgments.
We were talking earlier that, and by the way, Dave Dombrowski, he reminds me so much of Hall of Fame General Manager Pat Gillick.
Yes.
In that, he can supplement. And, Ed Wade left such a good foundation, and Ricky, with that team that won the NL East 5 years in a row from 2007 to 2011. And Pat came in, Ed almost, the year, was it 2006, we missed by 1 game when we lost, I think, 2 out of 3 to Houston, and Craig Biggio hit a big home run. Billy Wagner was still on the mound, but we were getting competitive under Larry Bowa as manager, and Ed Wade as GM. But then Pat came in, brings in a Jason Worth, trades for Brad Lidge, and
the Worth and Victorino thing was incredible. I mean, in my eyes, that was like 2 guys that were never going to make it anywhere.
Yes, there you are.
I mean, and then they come in here, and all of a sudden they're going, they're taking off like rockets. So, I mean, for a GM to notice some ability like that in guys that had underachieved, I thought that was unbelievable.
Ricky, that's a great assessment. We are fortunate today, ladies and gentlemen, to have two former Philly stars, outfielder Milt Thompson, relief pitcher Ricky Bottalico, a 96 All-Star, and we'll be right back with the second half of today's Independence Blue Cross Bull Session from Chickies and Pete's in a moment.
SEPTA offers a variety of career opportunities. Our core business is transit, and with 5 modes of service, we rely on and need operators, engineers, and conductors. But it takes a host of other specialties, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, and more to keep the system moving. As an employee, you will earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Relax and enjoy a cocktail from our seasonal cocktail menu. Try one of our delicious, perfectly blended options like strawberry lemonade. How about a raspberry sangria, blend of Pinot Grigio, raspberry liqueur, and bubbly lemon lime soda? Or maybe a Hendrick's Gimlet or a Patron Tropical Mojito is more your style. Enjoy one of these or many others from our Chicky and Pete's sensational seasonal cocktail selection. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
Whether you're headed to brunch or baseball practice, Team Toyota is ready. With new Toyotas on the lot ready to drive home today, including the all-new Tacoma and rows of RAV4s. And with our huge selection of dependable certified used Toyotas, our pre-owned departments are ready to make a deal that works for you. Plus, our award-winning service centers will have you back on the road in no time. Visit one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or online at teamtoyota.net.
Welcome back to Chickies and Pete's. By the way, this show is being taped and will be played back tonight at 5:30, I believe, Brianna. Do we know that? 5:30 to 6:30. Of course, we'll be across the street. Ricky will be at the Wells Fargo Center.
I will be at the Wells Fargo and probably over at the ballpark after.
Oh, great, great. And Milt, you'll be there, won't you, at the ballpark?
I'm coming tomorrow.
Okay, all right. Well, we appreciate you coming today because it gives us 2 headliners on WBCB, 1490 AM and 107.3 FM. And I'm told that my daughter and son-in-law are in the house now and grandchildren, but I don't.
They're right
saw
there.
them.
There they are.
Oh, here they come. And you know, Court, can you hear me, Court? I introduced Ricky Bottalico and Milt Thompson. I told them, former news anchor from CBS 4, Rock Island, Illinois. I told them about you working with Joe Carter's daughter. And they would compare baseball. And that's my son-in-law, Yash, over here. And he's originally from Hyderabad, India. Nice. And he's a wonderful young man, husband and father. And, well, listen, let's get back to baseball. I want to mention this, Ricky.
Yeah.
You're going to go into the All Sports Museum of South Jersey Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And Dave Hitchner is one of the founders of that great organization, and it puts together these great induction ceremonies.
Yeah, once I can pick a date, we'll be
Milt and I, Ricky, are lucky enough to have been so enshrined. Yep. And I'm going to try to be there when you get inducted.
I appreciate that. Yes.
Dave has invited me down to a number of great inductions, and boy, it's amazing the wonderful job they do, Milt, way down there in the sticks.
Yep.
You know, Cumberland County, Bridgeton, and Dave is also a former pitcher for Bridgeton High School.
Nice.
I think it's the last time they played in a high school baseball championship game.
Really? Oh, wow.
If I'm not mistaken. And like me, is a Glassboro State College grad. I played basketball there, Rick. Whereas Lou Tilley was emceeing a Big Five Hall of Fame induction ceremony when I was inducted. He said, well, anybody can see by looking at Dan Baker, he's not an athlete, but he is. Geez, I don't compare to the elite status of you guys. But,
Wow.
yeah, whoa.
That's not even a fair comment.
I wasn't too bad of a player, but I love sports, I'll tell you that. And I love working with Phillies like the two of you. And I hope you realize the hero status that you have with so many of us in the media, so many of these wonderful fans. And we're lucky enough, I think you're both aware, well, God, you have your own big following, Ricky, with your radio show, which is also televised, of course.
Yeah.
And it's on the Fanatic 97.5. And you're building a reputation there, Rick. And then with the pre- and post-game shows on NBC Sports Philadelphia.
Yep.
And it's just great watching you. And my wife can't wait. I can't wait to hear what Ricky has to say after the game tonight. Boy, this was a tough game. And we met at the Phillies. And here, Rio, that's my grandson there. And there, he's with Mommy and Daddy and Grandmom. And where's Aria Court? That's my granddaughter. So she's 4 months. Rio's 4 years. And what do the Phillies have to do, Ricky and Milt, to kind of get back on the good foot here? You know,
Very simple. Win game one.
Get
Win
back
game one, because lately in this rut they've been in, they lose the first game, and then you start pressing.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Win game one, and then you find a way to win the series. That's all.
Got the right guy on the mound tonight.
Yes.
You got Zach Wheeler going tonight. So I mean, anytime you have him going, you could pretty much assure yourself that you're going to get a pretty good start. So if your bats can get kicking a little bit, yeah, it could be a fun series. I think they're going to get up for this series. And it seems like, you know what, as a Philly, you don't play the Yankees that much.
No.
And they're always, I hate to say it, no, I don't mind saying it, they've always been a hated team when you go up against them. Like, you want to destroy the Yankees when you play them. Because when I was growing up, they were the evil empire. You know, everything they did, and then we started playing them in interleague play, and they lose that stigma a little bit, but you still don't like them.
but don't they have something, Rick and Milt, like 27 World
Yes, they
Series
do,
championships?
which is why you dislike them that much too.
You know, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
You think of all the great players. Aaron Judge, he's got to be right up there with all of the great Yankees, and Mickey Mantle.
They always seem to get somebody who's a Hall of Fame type.
Well, pretty soon they're going to have to go to triple digits.
Oh,
with that wall back there.
what are they going to do?
They're going to have no numbers.
Oh, my goodness. They're going to just have to start taking like a section of the stadium and using that.
Well, think of it. You know, when people talk about, well, I don't want to trade, I think we'll enjoy this conversation. We're talking about possible trades. And some people maintain, hey, you can't trade Crawford, you can't trade Aiden Miller, you can't trade Andrew Painter.
Right.
And my answer to that is, and I don't want to see us lose great prospects, we've won, the Yankees have won 27, we've won 2. And the Phillies have a rich tradition.
Yeah.
We've been in 8 World Series.
Yep.
I've announced 6 of them, by the way.
There you go.
Including the 2 winners. But it doesn't happen. My point being that it doesn't happen that often. And
Right.
if we got a chance to go for the brass ring,
You go for it.
Yes.
I agree with that. And the thing is that prospects are just that. They're prospects until proven differently. And, I mean, you look at this. Alec Boehm's up here. Bryson Stott's up here. You got a good little core of players that have come up through your system, which I think, number one, is great. But you also use those as pawns. I mean, that's what they really are. They're chess pieces right now that if there's one of those guys that could, put you over the top, bye. I mean, if you believe that, okay, I mean, let's face it. If you could go out and get a guy like Mike Trout right now, you would probably go, here you go. I mean, You want them all? I'll give them all to you. But it's just, to me, you can go back to Kyle Drabek. Remember Kyle Drabek?
Yes.
Everybody panicked when you got rid of him, and his career lasted about a year, if I'm not wrong. And he was a Phillies #1 prospect back then. It's just you never know what you really do have until they get to the major league level.
Spencer Howard.
He didn't. Mickey Moniak,
Yeah.
I think the one guy they've traded away is O'Hoppe that's going to be a legitimate long-term player.
Yeah. But you know what? We got Brandon Marsh in return.
Yeah.
And while Brandon might not be hitting left-handers, he's played some pretty good baseball, especially defensively for the Phillies, but also offensively, at least against right-handed pitchers.
Yeah, they got players. I mean, the Phillies are in a really good spot because they've gotten enough locked-up players right now for the next 2 years that all they have to do is fill in spots. I mean, I can't remember the last time I saw a team go into spring training with, 2 or 3 new guys with no spots open?
Yeah.
They did that this year.
Yeah.
They didn't have spots open, which is kind of comical.
How about
You don't see that.
How about the job, Milt Thompson, that Rob Thompson has done as manager of the Phillies? I thought Joe Girardi was going to do a fabulous job. He was manager of the year with the Marlins. He was the Yankees manager when they beat the Phillies in 2009 in the World Series. The only time in our history the Phillies have gone to back-to-back World Series, 08 and 09. Rob Thompson, Milt.
Man, he's a quiet leader, man, and the guys just rally around him. He doesn't panic.
Nope.
Players can understand when a manager gets a little nervous or something like that, and they know this guy's got their back, and he's just going out there saying, "Hey, go ahead, let's go." It's like yesterday. He said, "Hey, we're not playing well right now. We got to step it up.
Yeah,
we got to step it up. Let's go."
Which is truthful, but it's just, you know what? I understand. He understands baseball a lot. Probably, I mean, you've been around the game, and you've been around the game. We all know it's 162 games. There are times where you're coming to the ballpark and you're like, wow, we have to play tonight. I mean, can't we just get a rain out or something? Something happen, but it's not always easy to come to the ballpark every day and to have these guys motivated, because most of the nights they are motivated. That comes from the manager. Yeah. That's it.
Ricky, you're on the way to, I think, network status as a broadcaster.
I wish you were hiring.
No, I believe. By the way, I've been saying, if you remember, I told you some of these things a few years ago.
Yeah.
I could see it. I mean, I've been in the business for a long time.
Yeah.
And you can see it.
Well, I appreciate
just like with a hitter, or some guys have it. Like, I love Johan Rojas as a person.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever going to hit.
He might not.
I mean, but I mean, elite defender, great arm, great speed, and notice and
he takes pride in it.
Yeah.
He's pride in his outfield.
He's a great. And you know what? I love the chemistry on this Phillies team.
Yeah.
Johan's a big part of that. Edmundo Sosa. But how about the way Nick Castellanos has taken those kids under his arm, Milt, and Brandon Marsh, and the way they support each other. Would you speak to that, Milt, the importance of team chemistry?
Oh man, our '93 team. Oh my God. I mean, that was a special time. I mean, we're unselfish. We had all those platoons. We had 3 platoons. We knew our job, and we just went out and played. And that's what it was all about. If I could just talk to Rojas one time, I'd ask him a question. I said, what's the difference between your confidence in the outfield and your confidence at the plate? What's the difference?
In all honesty, I just think he wants to be a power hitter. I'm serious. When I watch his swing, it's a really long swing. So cut down your swing, man. Just think about hitting the ball back at the pitcher. See what happens.
With his speed, can you look at what the
We've
Guardians
seen him try
did?
to bunt, though.
See what the Guardians did, bunting-wise? They had a few bunt base hits.
Guardians play a very solid baseball game.
If Johan was had more bat control and could do that, man, oh man, that would add a few points onto his BA, wouldn't it, Milt?
Yeah, it would.
The reason, 13 years, 10 of them I hit 290 above because I get 15, 20 bunt hits. That's what it's all about. You got to find a way. As a guy that hits at the top of the lineup, you got to find, or if you hit at the bottom of the lineup.
But you were also a fighter with 2 strikes.
Yes.
A lot of these guys they don't change their swing. So I mean, if you fight with 2 strikes, okay, let's say you have 10 at bats with the 2 strikes. You get 2 hits, maybe jam shots.
Yeah.
There goes your average.
Yeah.
We have to take our last commercial break. When you're having fun and you're learning Phillies baseball, the time goes by quickly. And we have one more segment with Milt Thompson, Ricky Bottalico, and me, Dan Baker. And don't miss this, because my son-in-law, Yash Nara, is going to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." We'll be right back.
SEPTA offers a variety of career opportunities. Our core business is transit, and with 5 modes of service, we rely on and need operators, engineers, and conductors. But it takes a host of other specialties, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, and more to keep the system moving. As an employee, you will earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Relax and enjoy a cocktail from our seasonal cocktail menu. Try one of our delicious, perfectly blended options like strawberry lemonade. How about a raspberry sangria, blend of Pinot Grigio, raspberry liqueur, and bubbly lemon lime soda. Or maybe a Hendrick's Gimlet or a Patron Tropical Mojito is more your style. Enjoy one of these or many others from our Chicky and Pete's sensational seasonal cocktail selection. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
Whether you're headed to brunch or baseball practice, Team Toyota is ready. With new Toyotas on the lot ready to drive home today, including the all-new Tacoma and rows of RAV4s. And with our huge selection of dependable certified used Toyotas, our pre-owned departments are ready to make a deal that works for you. Plus, our award-winning service centers will have you back on the road in no time. Visit one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or online at teamtoyota.net.
This is the last segment of today's Independence Blue Cross Bull Session, brought to you by SEPTA. We're going to ask Milt also to pick our Independence Blue Cross Live Fearless Phillies Player of the Week. I want to thank Brianne O'Neill, our producer, assisted by Logan Davis. Thank you both for an outstanding job. And one of the things, among the many things you've done well today, is I believe our audience. Dave, can you hear us pretty well? Because sometimes, the PA is a little low, and I know sometimes it's hard to integrate the radio broadcast with the establishment, the restaurant's PA. But Brianne, thank you. For a terrific job. Well, I'm excited about this series, Milt and Ricky, and what the Phillies could do, the rest of the year, and the potential for postseason. And when you look back, Ricky and Milt, at the Phillies' history, there haven't been a whole lot of times Now, it happened with you in 93, Milt, but where we've been in this position, I mean, you went pole to pole.
Yeah.
You were in first place from day one through the end of the year in 93. And, Rick, it's nice to be in this position like you said earlier.
It is. But the one thing that, like, when the fans see that they're losing, like, series, they lose 4 series in a row, what they forget is how many series that they had won and the sweeps that they have put on teams. And you know what? All that adds up towards the end of the year. So if you give yourself a cushion, you've given yourself a cushion. It doesn't matter if it happens at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. They've put themselves in a good place right now. Look, the Atlanta Braves are not in a good place. They have a lot of injuries. And when you're talking your number 1 and 2 pitchers are out, your number 1 hitter, an MVP type player out, Michael Harris out, you name it on that team. They've had Albies out. I mean, I don't know if the Phillies could have gotten through what they're going through right now. You lose Nola, Wheeler, and 3 other guys, I think it would be really hard. But, you know what, punch them when they're down. Punch them when they're down. I'm sorry. You don't get this many opportunities against the Braves. I went through it for years when I was playing. You went through it for years against the Braves. It's not fun watching them win all the time.
I can't see the Mets overcoming us either, Milt. Can you?
No way. No way.
The Mets are not a better team than us.
One thing about this year is we got off to the great start. Past 2 years, we fought to get there.
Yeah.
We ain't got to fight this year.
No.
We just got to
You're going
maintain.
to make the playoffs. And somehow you just got to, get your maintenance back. And I think Rob already started that right before the All-Star break. He almost started that maintenance thing with the team. Like, he's going to cut back innings. He may go to a 6-man rotation at some point like he did last year. That's all about getting guys healthy for the run. And I think the Ranger thing's a little bit more than we think, so that's a little bothersome to me. But other than that, I mean, I just think it's a little tiredness, and you could wear that off as time goes on, and I'm hoping that's what happens here.
I saw Ranger yesterday, and I was talking to him about that, Ricky and Milt, at the Phillies annual Family Day. It's players only and their families. It's really a nice event. And again, Ricky and Milt, the team chemistry, there's a harmony there that not every team has. In fact, most don't, I would say. There's always one guy that, nobody likes or, gets under people's skin or something. But to me, it's a beautiful thing. And black, white, Hispanic, everybody cheers for everybody else. And, man, that's a good place to start.
It's a great place to start. They genuinely like one another.
Yeah.
You know what? Sometimes, you have teams where you have a click and boom, there's no such thing there. So it's a wonderful, wonderful. I love watching them.
There's a big-time acceptance nowadays with guys that come up from the minor leagues, and it's a different sense. I mean, I think there used to be a lot of survival in baseball. Like when I came up, I just wanted to survive my first games, and then you want to survive that first season. And it was a lot about yourself, you know what I mean? Almost trying to get yourself where you want to be. This Phillies team has kind of made it a team sport. Like, where you go, we go. And I think that's really good, especially when young kids come up. They have a confidence level to just be themselves. And that's, I go right to Kyle Schwarber, right to Bryce Harper for that.
Ricky, I want to say to you, I hope as you continue with your brilliant media career that you maintain a lot of the objectives that you've established, the honesty, the hard-hitting honesty, and I think people really appreciate it because some of us in the media tiptoe around because you don't want to hurt people, you don't want to lose a job.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's not about like hurting feelings, and I think the one thing, like when I do the pre and post game shows, I was like that when Milt saw me when I played. I was a little psychopath. I did not like when I felt embarrassment when I played poorly. And if I blew a game, that was even worse. Like it was like I felt like all the focus was on me. And but I was able to, one thing I was always able to do, look myself in the mirror. And that's one thing I would usually do. I was always there for the press. If I stunk, it's funny because I talked to Jim Salisbury, and he always says, oh, here's Ricky. He's not going to give us anything, or he's not going to let us say anything because he's going to say it all before, I let them. So it's funny because as a player now, if you think about it, all you have to do is control your own destiny. Go out there and say you didn't pitch well today. What are they going to say about you? That's the way I went in against our media. Like, I thought that way. And I used to always think when I got this job, don't change. Just be yourself, and that's the way I try to do it.
That's why he's going to be successful in this game, because he's honest. When I messed up, I was the first one to say, hey, my fault. I didn't make the play. I should have made the play. And that's how you go about gaining credibility.
And Milt and Ricky, it's that kind of intellectual honesty we need. I think better, listen, we all make mistakes. It's better that we hear from, say, a coworker or a supervisor, and we correct it before maybe the fans are aware of it or see this or that. And, I thought we kind of got away from that with some administrations. And, I think there was a short time, Ricky and Milt, where former players' advice and constructive criticism was discouraged.
Yeah, I think it kind of almost still is now at times, because the game has changed. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of computer work. We all know that. So what do you do? If somebody wanted my advice, I would give them advice. It's easy to give a reliever advice because a lot of that is between your ears, what's going on. You get into ruts. Why? Because you're thinking too much. And, I really do believe it's that simple. If I could talk to Ryan Kirkering about baseball, I would talk to him. I saw him at a restaurant the other day, said hello to him, hey, how are you, blah, 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 and that was it. And it's they have so much information coming in from coaches, paperwork, whatever you want to call it. I think they're overloaded at times.
And you probably told them to throw a few more balls over the plate, right?
I would tell Ryan Kirkering to use your fastball more to set things up.
Yeah.
The more I see your breaking ball, and you're going to keep throwing it to me.
Keep throwing it, because you're going to leave one up, and I'm going to get it.
It's like you said. Everybody knows he has that great breaking ball.
Yeah.
He can sneak fastballs by guys because they're looking for that.
And the one thing I noticed is that if you watch his breaking ball, it's never exactly the same. It's like he lets it go too many different spots. You got to get to that point where your release point is the same.
By the way, Milt and Ricky, you do see my grandson Rio with his Phillies shirt on.
Oh,
here.
There he is.
Hey, we're just about at the end of today's wonderful show starring Ricky Bottalico and Milt Thompson. Next Monday, we will be at Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. The show goes 6 to 7, and Mickey Morandini will be my co-host, and Howie Bedell is going to join us, a former Phillies player in the 60s and Phillies administrator in the 70s. I believe Milt was the farm director at one time, assistant GM to Dallas Green. Howie Bedell joins us next Monday. But before we go, how about a nice round of applause for Milt Thompson and Ricky Bottalico. Thank you, Brianne and Logan. We'll see you next week, everybody.
No.
Player of the game? And player of the week? Who's the Live Fearless player of the week, Milt? Sorry.
I'm going to go with Nick Castellanos.
Nick Castellanos. Okay. We'll see you, folks. Thank you. Thanks, Milt and Ricky.